How to repair old Stuart Meths burners. I have a couple of methylated spirit burners from Stuart 500 series boilers. The twin burner is for a 504 boiler and the smaller one is for a Stuart 501 boiler. The twin burner is in very poor condition and needs new wick material. I'll repeat that. In this video I am not using the right type of wick, but it works. It is very important not to overfill the tank with methylated spirit. Here is a situation. One of the end caps on the tubes is loose and the other one isn't. And when I remove the loose end cap, as you can see here, there is nothing in the tube. Now this would not be a very successful methylated spirit burner, because any meths put in the tank would just pour out of the end of the tube onto the bench and one slit would incinerate the operator. The other end cap was firmly stuck in the tube. I heated the part with my small blowtorch and tapped it with the hammer, being very careful not to hit it too hard because it is cast iron and I don't want to break it. Eventually, owing to the heat, the part became loose and I could gently tap it out of the hole. I tapped the part out of the tube using the hammer just for the video. And eventually the tube was open, but there was a problem. Inside this one there was a wick which was now on fire. Here it is, burning quite well. I put it out in the garden to extinguish the flames. The good thing about this image is that you can see the construction of the wick. I pulled out what I thought was the final piece of wick, and then this came out, the rest of the wick. There's still some of the string sticking out at one end, the rest of it is just a hollow cotton tube. And this is all I have for the replacement wicks in the tube. It's not full of pieces of string, it's just a piece of standard wick. Maybe I could have got two in, I don't know, but this is not the best way to do it. Generally speaking, it's a good idea to buy the right part for the job, but it's not convenient at the moment to do that, as I'm too busy shooting video footage with Alexander Cairns. I'd better mention that it's really important to pack the box. The last thing you want is a box full of liquid methylated spirit that would be quite dangerous. Here I'm putting all sorts of bits of wick into the box, including part of the original. It should work okay, providing that I put a measured amount of methylated spirit in the tank and don't overfill it. What I need to do now is refit the end cap, so I'm going to use Loctite 603 because it's very convenient. It will hold the cast iron end pieces firmly in place in the tube, and if they ever should need to be removed to fit the correct type of wick, it's a simple job to just heat the end bit. In my hand at the moment are various pieces of wick, and quite a lot of this went into the tank. It's really important to make sure that you have something that soaks up the meths. And now the twin burner for the Stuart 504 boiler is ready to use. And I'm going to fill it using methylated spirit. In the following clips, just in case you're wondering, I am overfilling the tank, and I'm doing this on purpose. And here, using a funnel, I'm filling the tank right to the top. I wonder what's going to happen. It ran all over the bench, so I jammed in some more packing material and added some more methylated spirit. Too much, in fact. And as you can see, it's all overflowing onto the bench. I cleaned this up using a cloth, and once I got most of it off the bench, I thought it would be good fun to see how much fire I could generate from a very thin coating of methylated spirit on the bench. So here we go. It didn't burn for long, but I wish I hadn't done it because it's very warm in the workshop now, and it was too hot in the workshop to start with. I moved everything flammable out of the way, and using the blowtorch I applied some heat to the tubes, and in no time at all I had a controlled flame. A surprisingly hot controlled flame. These twin burners really are quite something. Not as good as the Bassett Low burners, they were something special, but they're very good and very powerful, and they give off much more heat than you would expect. Once both of the burners were lit, it was just a case of letting them burn. I can lift the tank now and the meths doesn't flood everywhere, which means there is enough packing in the tank to stop the tubes from flooding, but I must repeat, this is not the way to really do the job. A much better idea is to fill the tubes with some wick which is internally full of string, or these days glass fibre, and is a nice fit in the tube. That would be better than the way I'm doing it. I blew out the burner and then relit it, and as you can see, it's a very simple job. And you will notice now that the flames are all the way down the tubes. This is the 501 burner, and there's nothing really wrong with this. I did actually paint it. The other one really needs the paint removing before repainting, but this one just needed a quick spray over with some HMG paint satin black. I'm looking inside the tank through the filler hole just to make sure that there is wicking inside the tank itself, and there is, so now I can go ahead, fill it with mess and light it. And as you can see, it's initially a little bit on the lazy side, it's only burning at one end, but this is fairly common, it hasn't been used for a long time, it will get better. I'm using the 501 boiler burner to light the 504 boiler burner. Here I'm using a Stanley knife. I'm not cutting the wick, I'm just pressing it down inside the holes to just energise it a little bit, and it did start to burn better. You need to be very careful when you work with methylated spirit burners, they get very hot indeed. And if you do spill a lot of methylated spirit on your workbench, you're very likely going to burn down your workshop. That's it for this video. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.